Kelly, I would imagine that this is going to be a very powerful, a very welcome and popular short attention span webinar because of the subject matter, wouldn't you?
Especially after Print 13, I certainly would. Boy, there was so much discussion about digital, 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 and I said, wow, this is what I've been waiting 20 years for.
Yeah, yeah, quite literally, right?
Yes.
It seems like the market has caught up to people like you and me that have been selling it for a long time. So let's give you 3 quick things to think about while your attention span is being held. 3 quick things to think about. And the first one might be kind of scary. We get this a lot. When you talk to somebody who's so used to that, working with the buyer, dealing with somebody who really understands print, you have a long-standing relationship, you've been out to numerous lunches, you've played golf, you've known them for years, that scenario, that's not the person that you want to talk to. Kelly, who is the right person to talk to, or who might be?
Well, everything you just described, Bill, I think that you guys all out there, if you're being honest, when you start talking about digital to that person and their eyes glaze over and they look like you have no idea what they're talking about, it's because they don't have any idea what you're talking about. So yes, it's a very different conversation with a very different kind of person, because these people that you want to talk to about digital have a whole different set of problems. They are trying to reach people. They are trying to sell their products and communicate in a meaningful way with their customers, and digital can be a great way to do that. So this is really more about finding the people who get it. I'm doing air quotes right now. Get it, that there are ways to use digital printing to communicate in a one-on-one basis with people. Those are the kinds of folks you're trying to reach.
Yeah, or as Kelly says, it might be a product manager. It might be somebody, it might be an administrator at a college. And you don't just kind of, here's the thing, you have to almost look for the application first, which is one of our points. We'll look for the application first and then back up and find the person in charge of that. So we'll kind of wrap that up together at the end of this. But just understand, you're going to be outside of your comfort zone if you've been living in the purchasing department for years and years and years.
One more thing, Bill, one more thing I want to add to this is this is the kind of people that you're going to be talking to, and the way that you're going to be talking to them. Your conversations might start with something like, what if you could? And what if we could? So you're saying, what if we could create a marketing piece that does the following things? And you see their eyes kind of light up, like, we can do that? Yeah, we can put their name all over it, or we can put this image all over it, or we can, every single piece that comes off can be different, and it can be targeted, and it can have, with meaningful data behind it, it can do all kinds of great things to increase response and things like that. When you're having that kind of a marketing discussion, a results-oriented discussion, again, it's outside of your comfort zone, or it might be, but it's not as scary as you think it is.
So this is a creative person, Kelly. This is somebody who sits back and that what if, that's not your average sales call.
Right.
So there I say, there it is again, you might be outside your comfort zone. You're moving up the food chain into the design stage of the job and away from the quote stage of the job, and you might not be comfortable there. So just expect that and accept it. Know that this is a technical sale, that you might be dealing with somebody who's got a lot more technical knowledge than you. You've got to be ready for that. You need to have a technical person with you to do all that techie talk. So that's number one. The right issue. Now this one is going to look funny on paper, if you will. What is the right issue to talk about with digital? It's not speeds and feeds. It's not toner and paper. It's not quality. You know what? There's some other things going on here that you need to talk about. The right issue might be, we're technically superior to our competition. Focus on your pre-press ability to manage the files, manipulate the files. Kelly, you talked about variable data printing. There's a certain amount of confidentiality and expertise and credibility that has to go along with that conversation. So, when you see those words, those 5 words, Kelly, what comes to mind for you, the right issue when it comes to selling digital? It's,
again, talking about the food chain, it's definitely about the data. It's who are they, what are they trying to accomplish and how are they trying to accomplish it and who are they trying to accomplish it with. So it's that, that kind of marketing fundamental about your piece has to have great creative, have a great offer, and be targeted to the right person. Those are kind of like the three must-haves of a great direct mail piece. So I always joke that, if if your client is somehow accidentally sending formula coupons to single guys, you've got a problem with the data. So understanding at least the fundamentals of how that stuff all comes together, understanding that on your end and then having that conversation is very important.
And I think how you get to this point, this bullet point here, Kelly, correct me if I'm wrong, is learning the questions to ask, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay, so that's how you find out. Like if somebody's talking about the fact that they've got way too much inventory, okay, boom, that's the door you want to go through. If someone says, we're ordering from all over the country, we'd like to centralize it, okay, then you're talking about the digital file. If it's a quality issue, a print quality issue, you can still go through that door, but learn to ask the right questions. And then finally, learn some verticals. Where am I going to go for vertical markets, Kelly?
There are some great case studies on Pody. Actually, Printing Impressions has some great case studies occasionally on the front page of their website too. So you're really looking, again, this is a story that you're looking for that you can tell. So hopefully within your own organization you've got some great stories of other ways that clients are using digital to solve their problems and reach their goals. And you really only need one or two good stories to tell, and then you can develop that even further. So for example, maybe you've got a strong presence in the automotive industry, so you want to tell that story about how you've been able to send out information to prospective buyers within 2 days after they fill out an online survey about what kind of a car they're looking for. All personalized with their favorite color and their favorite make and model, things like that. So it's understanding, Bill, you mentioned earlier the application. It's understanding the different ways that digital can be used and how that applies to a real-world situation. So it's, this was their problem, this was my solution, and this was the result.
And Pody, by the way, PODI.org, printondemandinitiative.org. By the way, Kelly threw that one by. The neat thing about those case studies, Kelly, it's very rarely going to be a perfect bullseye hit where someone says, yeah, let's do that. What those case studies do is they generate conversation, right? So now you're having a conversation with a customer who says, yeah, that's great, but here's what we'd really like to do. What a great deal. Now you're designing something to your specs. Now you got the customer seeing you as a resource and not just somebody who kicks out prices. So that's the value there. So there's 3 quick ideas for selling digital print. And I promise you that as you're listening to us, Kelly Milazzi is jumping up and down on her seat because she's got 30 more. This was where she lived. So calm down out there, Kelly. Oh, my God. Anyway, thanks.
Thanks, Bill.
And we'll talk to you all again on the next Short Attention Span webinar.